I've had a lot of therapy over the years. The longest period was 8 years of psychodynamic therapy. Don't know why my face is brown and my hand is white. um, but, and I have a lot of insight. I have counsellor training. Today surprised me. I had a session with a charity that I've signed up to have some support with, and it's given me such a great insight into a part of me which I could never understand. I could never understand it. I just assumed it was there because I needed to have a voice. And I'm talking about my inner rage. Now, if you've ever seen the Van Helsing film with Hugh Jackman in it, you know that he turns into a black werewolf. And I remember saying to my therapist years ago that where he starts changing and he rips off his skin and he turns into this big black werewolf, that's how I felt about my inner rage. And I've never really known what that rage stood for until today. And with the insight of reading a recent book, which was When Your Survival Becomes Normal by Samantha Yemm, it's on Amazon, and then with this session in particular today, I finally realised that this rage is not something to be suppressed, it's not something to be ashamed of, it's not something to be frightened of. It's actually a protection mechanism. Not just a coping mechanism, but something that has guarded me, that has protected me and fueled me, given me enough energy to keep up the behaviours and practices that I thought I needed to do in order to be safe, to stay accepted, to not be given away again. I'm an adoptee, in case you didn't know. And so rather than feeling afraid of that rage, I can actually start giving it some compassion, and I can thank it for looking after me all of my life. Now, some of you are going to think that's completely mad woo-woo, but let me tell you, it makes sense to me, and I'm only sharing it because it might just make sense to somebody else, and if it doesn't, well, you would have scrolled on by now anyway. So yeah, I mean, this kind of, it's not just about insight, it's about how am I now going to start integrating that new practice, that when my rage kicks in because I've been triggered, or I feel uncertain or afraid, or I'm doubting myself, rather than just sort of telling it to be quiet or finding a way to work out that nervous energy, that anxious sort of adrenaline fueled energy for being angry and aggressive, I can remember what we talked through in the session about how I can show it compassion. And so all these years I've feared the first process of the werewolf, if you like, which is going from being me into this rage-fueled monster. I've actually learned the other part of the process, which is to return from the monster to me. Make of that what you will. Take care.